Okay, everybody, here is the quiz review. I'm going to try and do a nice job, so if you want to watch the review, you can. Not a difficult quiz, it's just about linear equations and linear systems. So, number one, let's just do it, okay? And I'll do the work on a separate sheet of paper, which is what you should do too, okay? So, number one, find the midpoint and the length. So, point A is going to be, let's see, A is 3, 6. And B is negative 2, 12. You can do it graphically. I'm just going to do it using algebra. I like that. So the midpoint's pretty easy. It's just the average. It's x2 plus x1 over 2 comma y2 plus y1 over 2. x1, y1, right? x1, y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. And so my midpoint is simply going to be negative 2 plus 3 over 2, comma, 12 plus 6 over 2, comma, and so then I wind up with a 1/2, and let's see, 18 halves, which is 9, so my midpoint is 1/2, comma, 9. Okay, done. There you go. Number one, first part's done. Easy, huh? Highlight. Number two, actually not number two, but the distance is going to be the big square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So in this case, the distance is, let's see, same points, right? So we'll go negative 2 minus 3 squared plus 12 minus 6 squared. Again, you could graph it and use Pythagoras theorem, but I'm just going to use the formula. Negative 5 squared plus, let's see, that's going to be a 6 squared, so I get the distances square root of 25 plus 36. Let's see, that's 61 square root of 61, which is a fine answer, or you can get a decimal equivalent of that if you need to, okay? I don't know what's square root of 61. Hold on. Square root of 61. Or about 7.8 approximately. Okay, moving on. Number two says the equation of the line AB. Find the equation line AB. All right, again, graphically, or I can just do it by using my formulas. So I would start off with the slope. Slope is going to be this number 2. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, I'm going to have a 12 minus 6 over negative 2 minus 3. So a slope of 6 over negative 5. All right, not a very nice number. I could even use a decimal if I needed to. I like the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 equation. I'm going to go use my first point, so I'll go y minus 6 equals that's about negative 1.2. Might be easier to use that as a decimal, right? Negative 1.2, and then x minus 3. So I'm going to have a y minus 6 equals a negative 1.2x plus 3.6 probably. Let's see, 1.2 times 3. Yeah, 3.6 plus 3.6. If I add 6, y equals a negative 1.2, sorry, so sloppy, x plus 9.6. Okay, if I add 6, right? That's a terrible looking 1.2. Yeah, dang it, 1.2. Right, I need to get some new white out. Number 3, let's see, number 3 says graph. Okay, so I need my graph paper, which I have some graph paper here. Put number 3 on graph paper. I have a 2x minus a 5y equals negative 10. I think the easiest way for me to graph this one is by what I call the cover-up method. And so if I cover up the x's, I get y to equal 2. So I'll put an answer at 2. And if I cover up the y, I get x equals a negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can connect the dots. And I have my intercepts. It's pretty slick, huh? I like the intercept method, okay? There it is. Let x equal 0, let y equal 0, okay? And that's how I got it. And then my x-intercept is obviously negative 5, 0, My y-intercept is at 0, 3. Okay, now the slope is up 2 over 5. I can just see that. So my slope is up 2 over 5. I can just count it. Okay, now number 4, find the equation of a vertical line. A vertical line is straight up and down, okay? So number 4, if it's vertical and it's going to go through 0.37, okay? We can just do a real quick sketch if we need to. But 3, 7 is here. If it's a vertical line, it's got to be an x equal equation, so it's got to be 3, 7. It's just going to be an x equals 3. That's it. It's as easy as that, a vertical line. Okay. Number 5. Find the equation. Oh, find a line parallel and perpendicular. Okay, passing that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and come back to my regular paper. I don't need graph paper for this. Number 5. Let's see, scoot this up so you can see it. All right. So if I've got 3x minus 4y equals 18, first thing I need to know is the slope. All right, that's easy. Minus 3x minus 3x minus 4y equals negative 3x plus 18. Divide by negative 4. And I'm going to get y equals a positive 3/4 x. Let's see, what is that? 9/2. Negative 9/2. But I don't really care about that. All I really care about is the slope, right? So if I need a parallel slope, I'm going to go ahead and take the slope, and then what I'm going to do with it is use the point 8, negative 16, and I'm going to use my equation, which I like so much, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and I'll put my 3/4 here. I'll put my y and x here. I'll go y minus a minus 16 equals 3/4 times an x minus 8. Okay, so then y plus 16 equals, and I'll distribute that times that, that times that. I'll get a 3/4 x. Let's see, it goes in 2 times, minus 6, okay, and then I minus 16, I think that's a 22. So y equals a 3/4 x minus 22. Okay, this line is parallel to this line, but it goes through this point. That's what we need. Okay, now the perpendicular one, I'll take that same slope, but I'll change it. So let me go ahead and take my paper, turn my paper into the next sheet, and so this is still 5, but this is the perpendicular part. Perpendicular. So I'll take my slope, which is 3/4, right? And I will reverse it. So my perpendicular slope is now negative 4/3. Again, I have my point 8, negative 16. I like my equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to go y minus my 16 equals my negative 4/3 times my x minus my 8. Y plus 16 equals a negative 4/3. I'm just distributing. Not such a nice number. Plus, let's see, I'm going to get, what's that? 4 times 8 divided by 3. I'll just do a calculator. 4/3 times 8. We'll 10 and 2/3 plus 10 and 2/3. If I subtract 16, I'll have y equals a negative 4/3 x, and then if I subtract 16 minus 16, I'll have a negative 5 1/3, negative 5 1/3, or decimals are fine if that's what you want to use. Okay, so this line is perpendicular to the original line and it passes through that point. Okay, all right, what else we got? We have then also number 6, perpendicular bisector. Again, I'm going to do it algebraically. I've got point A, which is 410, point B, and you can do it graphically if it works. So first of all, I need the midpoint. I mean, it looks something like this. I can just give it 410, negative 2, negative 8, there's B. So what I really want is I'm looking for the midpoint and the slope. So first of all, midpoint. Let's see, x2 plus x1 divided by 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. I'm going to get 2 over 2, which is 1. I'm going to get 2 over 2, which is 1. All right, so the midpoint's right about here somewhere. I need the slope, okay, because if I can find the slope, I'll make the opposite of the slope. So I'll find the slope, which I'll use my slope formula, which is my y2 minus my y1 over my x2 minus my x1. So I get, let's see, negative 18 over negative 6, right, which is basically 3 over 1. But I need the opposite, so slope perpendicular, which is negative 1/3. Got to change it, change my slope, negative reciprocal, and then I'm going to have to use my formula. Boy, I got to squeeze it in. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, knowing that the slope I need is the negative 1/3 and the midpoint I need both of these. So I'll go y minus 1 equals a negative 1/3 times an x minus 1. I'm running out of room, doggone it. I'll have a y equals, squeeze it up here. We'll bring over the 1, let's see, y negative 1/3 x. I'll have a positive 1/3 plus 1. Okay, hold on. Y equals a negative 1/3 x plus 4/3, or 1 1/3. Whew! Had to squeeze that in. Kind of hard to see all my work. It goes back up to there. Okay, and number 7. I got to solve this system. Okay, I'm going to do number 7 right here. Probably by elimination method, I'm sure is the easiest way. Oh yeah, 7. I've got a 7x minus 4y equals 8. 5x minus y equals 2. I'm going to multiply this one by a negative 4 to cancel out the y's. So equation 1 is still a 7x minus a 4y equals 8. Equation 2 is going to be a negative 20x plus 4y equals negative 8. Oh, interesting. I'll get a 0. I like that. Negative 13x cancels equals 0. X is 0. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so if x is 0, let's plug that back in. Probably, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. I'll take the second equation. It looks easier to work with. It's my 5x minus y equals 2. So 5 times 0, because 0 goes in for x, minus y equals 2. Negative y equals, that's 0, right? 2y is negative 2. Okay, so my answer's got to be a 0, negative 2. All right, cool. All right, awesome. Okay, last but not least, a little story problem. Okay, we have, they're going to do a fun run. They need to rent the city park for $300, so that's going to cost us. They'll charge $15 per runner. Write an income. So my income equation, I of n, that's number 8, right, is going to equal income, number of people, is going to be 15, and number of people minus 300. Okay, that's easy. There's my income equation. Boom. And then, if only 100 runners are allowed, what's the domain range? Okay, so if 100 runners, the domain obviously is going to be easy. Domain with only 100 runners is from 0 to 100. But the range, well, if nobody shows up, we're going to be at negative 300. But if 100 people show up, let's see, what's 15? So I of 100, what's I of 100? Equals 15 times 100, 1500 minus 300, 1200, is that right? I think so. Let's see, 15 times 100 minus 300, 1200, yeah. So we can make as much as 1200 bucks. Okay, there we go. What's the break-even point? Well, that's when you set it equal to 0, so there's no income. 15n minus 300, minus 300, or add 300. Divide by 15, what is that, 20? Probably. 300 divided by 15. Oh, 15, put down the answer. Yeah, 20. So we need to sell at least 20 tickets in order to break even. Okay, that's what I have. Quiz should be easy for you tomorrow, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay.